It's actually Barilla. I'm Italian, so it should be Barilli, I guess. But anyway, okay, thank you. In trying to review 12 years in 6 minutes, I feel like the proverbial Egyptian mummy, a little pressed for time. How many people have heard that one before? That's why it's proverbial. Anyway, actually, with input from our class president, Pat McQuillan, who could not be here this evening because of health reasons, and with review and support from Father Larry Purcell and Eddie, and encouragement from my wife Patricia, here's what I wrote. Our seminary class, 1961 to 1973, challenged by change. In 1961, 125 of us entered St. Joseph's College, the minor seminary in Mountain View, California. We were naive, conservative, 14-year-old boys exploring the possibility of becoming Roman Catholic diocesan priests. We were the last freshman class to enter as pre-Vatican II seminarians. Vatican II, 1962 to 1965, had a profound impact on us all. As high school sophomores, our class made a concerted effort to end the hazing practices that we and other freshman classes before us had to endure without much intervention by the faculty. Our class president, Pat, said he was proud to make newcomers feel welcome and not toughened by these initiation rites. As juniors, we came under a much kinder influence of Father Albert Giaquinto, who replaced the sterner Father Charles Dillon, who was an extension of the pre-Vatican medieval years of written structure, discipline, and obedience. In 1964, in our senior year, although we moved to the college wing, we were considered part of the high school system. For one, our sports system captains of old were resurrected as commissioners to lead the sport program there again. Father Gregoire was very supportive of Pat and our class in making these and other transitions. We experienced many other changes which challenged us to assume a more personal responsibility. Students had cars on campus. Gregorian chant shared the stage with folk singers and rock and roll groups. Father Ron Chokel's philosophy class encouraged questioning. And Father Eugene Boyle's social justice seminar's report made the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle and would launch several students into state politics. Challenged by our new freedom to foster personal responsibility, many of us struggled to adjust to that freedom. Some were enthralled, others were disappointed, but somehow most of us forged on. In 1967, our class ended the 6-year minor seminary experience. We did not learn until 1968 that we were to become the last class to officially graduate as a Rhet class as a seminary. Went to a 4-4-4 system, 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, and 4 years of theology. In our junior year, our class, as expected, entered St. Patrick's in Menlo Park as first philosophers. But in our senior year, the faculty wanted us to return to St. Joe's in Mountain View, to be one with the college there. Many of us objected, and surprisingly, a compromise was reached, allowing our class to choose either staying at St. Joe's or St. Pat's and taking classes on both campuses. We ourselves were literally and figuratively divided on this issue, another first and last in the history of St. Joe's and St. Pat's. In 1969, after 8 years, when many of us first entered the seminary, we graduated from college. At that juncture, many of us left the seminary to follow what some call the priesthood of the laity, serving those we encountered with the compassion, the respect, and the competency we learned at home and in the seminary. Meanwhile, other classmates stayed on, 10 to 12 of whom were ordained in 1973. Of those ordained, Rich Garcia would become a bishop, living in the spirit of Pope Francis. And others would lead remarkable lives in parishes and or teaching in schools or universities. After the death of his wife, Joan, in the 30th year of their marriage, Larry Purcell would re-enter the seminary and be ordained. Phil Flowers would become a deacon after his career in IBM. Even in the turbulent times of the 1960s, most of us would find something to hold sacred in our time at St. Joseph's College and or at St. Patrick's Seminary. Spiritual growth, liberal education, mentorship, and our friendships. To those who helped find these gifts, we are grateful. The Sulpician priest or other educators to whom we could relate, we are very grateful. We are also thankful for the Alumni Association for allowing us to come together here at St. Patrick's to renew old friendships and to celebrate the times we shared then and now. Reading and rereading the 39, actually 40 individual autobiographical sketch on our class website, I am so proud of our class and what they have done with their lives, and that most are so thankful for the experiences we had in the seminary, which helped us grow from boys of dream to men of character. Thank you. Father Larry will now introduce our class.
Great job, Joe. Thank you so much. I have the easy task of calling out the names of our classmates who are able to be here this evening, but first of all, I want to acknowledge Joe Burrell. Yes. Joe, over 10 years ago, after the death of one of our classmates, John Leslie, Joe took it upon himself to begin to try to create a network to put all of us in touch with one another again. A website, an email list, and so we have about 22 classmates here tonight. We would not have that number here, I can assure you, based on previous alumni days, if it were not for Joe Burrell. So we want to give him the designation of the Rhet class of 67's Mini Murph. But in addition to Joe and myself, and also Bishop Garcia, who could not stay for dinner, he's always triple booked, so I'm amazed that he was able to stay for the entire Mass tonight. We also have Jim and Gwen Neary here from Santa Rosa. Jim Harvey, please hold your applause. Okay. Jim Harvey and his wife Kathy from Montera, Paul and Teddy Page, who you saw at Mass this evening as our cantor and accompanist from San Jose, Ed Chiasso from Sacramento, Charlie Franich from Boston, Stan Teixeira from Fresno, Mike Splain from Santa Cruz, Steve Essig from Redding, Jack Quatman from Montana, a real Trump supporter. You should see his Facebook page. Mike Huvane from Santa Fe, New Mexico, Bill Stokes from Sacramento, Randy Gorange from Oakland, Father Wally McMahon, a retired priest like myself from the Diocese of San Jose, Joe Carroll from San Diego, Dave Donovan, former police officer and now author from the East Bay, Rudy Leonardi from Mill Valley, Ray and Maureen Puccinelli from Daly City, and Jack Snyder from Petaluma, and Alan Cecilio and his wife, and I don't know where you're living these days, Alan.
Silver Spring, Maryland.
Silver Spring, wow. So that's what it took to get this portion of our class back together again. So guys, please stand up. Before I give up the mic, I would just like to say this. You know, Joe pointed out so clearly how our class marked so many changes in the life of the seminary system here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And we're doing it again this evening. That our 50th anniversary celebration is happening when the Sulpician Fathers will be leaving St. Patrick's Seminary, which I think is a tragedy. And they have been the force of reason in this seminary for such a long time. And I know they leave with the assurance and the feeling of how well loved and respected they are here on the West Coast. But I would like to just conclude by acknowledging all the wonderful men of San Sulpice from whose lives we have benefited.
All right, would you like to know if you won something in the raffle?
Yeah. Oh, they've already done it?
All right.
It's fixed.
In keeping with tradition, we have conducted all of the raffling